Well, hello Smegheads, how are you? Novabug here, and this is a video response to JL76 Gaming, and I couldn't resist this one. He asks, what are your top 5 Red Dwarf episodes? Well, as a huge Red Dwarf, there's Starbug there if you can't see it, as a huge Red Dwarf fan, I know I'm only holding up the DVDs, not including Series 11, that's still downstairs. But here's the 10 series of Red Dwarf, 10 of the series of Red Dwarf on DVD. Yeah, and I've got all the books and loads of memorabilia and Chris Barry's signature and photograph. And I really geeked out big time when I met him, didn't I? So yeah, I mean, I don't talk about Red Dwarf a lot on the channel. So yeah, a little bit of a sway from gaming at the moment. And yes, let's talk about Y2 Smeg itself, the best TV show ever. And I will say that with aplomb. It is. I love it. It's brilliantly written. It's the combination of comedy and sci-fi, deliberately tacky. You know, I've loved it ever since the day it was broadcast, way back in the 80s. I've watched it religiously ever since seeing that first season. Since the first season, I have watched it, and most people picked it up in the third season. Because that's when their production values got better and it got a little bit more slapstick funny and a little bit less cerebral, but then later on it did get more cerebral and more drama-ish as well. It became more a comedy sci-fi drama kind of thing. But I've watched it since Series 1 and all the way through, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled at the moment that Series 11 just came out, and I thought Series 11 was fantastic. Yeah, I did say that. I thought it was fantastic. I really did think it was great. You know, Back to Earth, you know, I can see what they tried to do with Back to Earth, and I can appreciate what they tried to do. It is just a retelling of Back to Reality, one of the episodes that JL picked. I like it, but it's not the best, and I was kind of sort of, after Series 8, I watched that, and it's kind of really, is it really a good idea that you continue this on, Doug? And then Series 10 came out, and I thought Series 10 was a massive return to form, and Series 11 was just brilliant. I mean, it had very brief, I mean, the endings of each episode were very, very quick and quite, you know, sharp. That was the only negative I drew from it. And I thought the crew, the actors, the cast looked fantastic in it. I just want Holly back. Maybe we'll get him in Series 12, hopefully. Excuse me, that was disgusting, wasn't it? In proper Lister style. I'm going to take me, no, I'm not. So I'm going to go through my top 5. This is a tough question for me because I love so many of the episodes. It'd be an easier question for me if you just said what my least favourite episodes. And some, you know, quite easy. Demons and Angels from Series 5. Not a big fan of that episode. I don't like the kind of perverse nature of it. It kind of comes a bit off kilter. Some people like that kind of humour. I don't think it fits the Red Dwarf mould so much. It's bizarre, and there's bits of it that are funny, but I don't really like that episode. Waiting for God, unfortunately on Series 1, is also just too slow, very monotonous. It's quite a dull episode. It's a cat episode, and thankfully, you know, he's had much better episodes, the cat. I mean, the final episode of Series 11, Can of Worms, was a cat episode, and it was a brilliant cat episode. Or do like a cat episode when they do it right. But I'm going to go through my list, and I'll show you the series they're from at the time. Now, the first one I'm going to go for, my number 5, and this is going to be a bit of a shock to some people, because some people say this is their number 1, and it is a great episode. But I'm going to go with Series 3's Polymorph. And the scene, it's just that scene, you know, the shrinking underpants scene is just, it's just one of those moments of comedy gold. Absolute comedy gold. And you know, when they were filming that, the cast and the crew always said that when that happened, when Chris Barry and Craig Charles and Robert Llewellyn were playing out that scene, the audience just broke down in absolute apoplectic. That they just completely broke down, and they couldn't film. That they had to sort of like sit there, freeze, and wait until the audience calmed down. Because it's such a classic scene, and the whole concept is brilliant. It's the kind of alien parody kind of thing. You know, even the polymorph, the xenomorph polymorph itself looks like an alien. It has that sort of alien sort of tongue thing going on, which is the sucker that sucks out the emotions, and the concept of it stealing emotions is brilliant, and it's revisited. You know, we see polymorphs again later on in the series. We see a polymorph in series 6, and we see a polymorph in series 11. So the polymorphs do return. And they also introduced the concept of Gelfs, genetically engineered life forms, and that is a running theme throughout this, you know, all the episodes, series is several episodes, that there are no actual alien life, it's just Gelfs, you know, man-made. So polymorph is my number 5. My number 4 is episode, where is it? Let me find it. Here it is. Series 4, episode 4, White Hole. Now, White Hole, it was one of the funniest episodes that I remember seeing when I first saw it aired, for the first time it aired, should I say. You have to get your head around it, because it's a time bending episode. It doesn't really make sense, but it doesn't matter with Red Dwarf, you know, it doesn't matter. Continuity just goes out the window just for laugh's sake. And the scene when they repeat themselves and the cat, so what is it? Only joking, so what is it? And oh, that scene is just, I could watch that scene over and over again. It's just so funny. It's so well written and well performed as well. And then you've got the ridiculous concept of Lister playing pool with planets, and he gets drunk while he does it, and then Holly being, and the Talkie Toaster, of course, the return of Talkie Toaster is in that as well. You know, it's just Talkie Toaster is just the scene when he's arguing with Lister is just surreal, extremely funny. At the beginning of it, playing the pool with the planets. Time keeps looping itself as well, so that, you know, they're not affected by the laws of causality. So things keep repeating themselves, and it's just brilliantly done, brilliantly written, and a great idea. It's my episode 4. My third favourite episode, and this is going to be another bit of a shocker for people, is actually from series 10. Oh, bloody hell, the DVD's fallen out. Let's put that back in, shall we? Series 10. Now, some people have a bit of a about series 10, but I think it was great. It was a great return to form, and the best episode from series 10 is the second episode, and that's Fathers and Sons. So it's a continuation of the Lister storyline of him being his own father. He fathered himself in the past, and he set himself in a perpetual loop that the human race never exists. I'll talk about that in a minute when I get to my favourite episode. But Fathers and Sons has there's two different stories going on that are intertwined. So the main focus of it is Lister is his own dad, and so he never has a Father's Day. So his Father's Day is himself. So he posts Father's Day cards to him the year before, drunk, so he doesn't remember. So he receives it on Father's Day the next year. So that's fucking funny as fuck. But then the best scene in that, and probably one of the best scenes I think Craig Charles has ever done, is the drunk conversation with himself. So he films himself as his father lecturing himself as his son. Crazy concept, but it's so brilliantly done. And you got the bit with the guitar. He flushes his own guitar out the fucking ship, and then he tries to sort of it's all about him bettering himself, basically. And then that intertwines with Crichton replacing Holly, because Holly's still damaged, with a new computer called Pre, which basically predicts everyone's conversations in advance. And this ends up with Lister on the outside of the ship. Some great special effects in this one, especially when he's coming through he comes through the scoop at the front of the ship, and you've never seen anything like that before in Red Dwarf. That scene, and I love the idea, and I like Lister's storyline. I think Lister's storyline is an extremely interesting storyline of the last human being, and they keep managing to find something else to talk about his storyline. So, fantastic episode. My second favourite episode, and this was my favourite episode for a long time, before Series 7 came out. So there's a clue from that episode's best episode. And this is the Series 2 and Stasis Leak, another time-bending episode. I have a thing about time-bending, weird that. I have a thing about time-bending, weird that. I have a thing about time-bending, weird that. What happened there? Anyway, that was done without special effects as well. Did you notice? Stasis Lake is, they discover a leaking time on one of the decks one of the very, very low decks into the bowels of the ship, and they try to go through into the past. It opens a portal into the past when the Red Dwarf crew was still alive, so they try to save themselves. Rimmer trying to save himself from dying, which is a strange concept. And then you've got Lister discovering a photograph of him marrying Kochanski, so he thinks he's going to marry Kochanski in the past, so he's trying to woo Kochanski when he goes back into the past. The cat is just along for the ride. He has some classic. The cat has some brilliant lines in this episode. It's the first episode where I think the cat has had some great one-liners, really great one-liners. Especially with the two Listers scene in the hotel room, when he just turns out, what is this? A medium ugly convention? And I don't sound funny with me saying it. Of course it bloody won't. I'm a drongo, but it's just so funnily done. It's a shame that they never actually revisited the idea of what would happen in the future in future episodes. But you know, timelines can be changed and rewritten, and time slides, what went on in that episode could change things, and many different connotations of how time can change. Who cares anyway? It's Red Dwarf. You're not supposed to take it seriously, even though I do. But the best scene, and I think, you know what? Even though it's not my favourite episode, this has probably got the best scene. It's the way it's shot, the way it's filmed, and the discourse of the dialogue. It makes you just rub your head but laugh at the same time, and that is when you get everyone conglomerating in the bunk room. So you've got 3 Listers. Is it 3 Listers or 2 Listers? Yeah, you've got 3 Listers. So you've got the past Lister, the present Lister, and the future Lister. You've got the present Rimmer, the future Rimmer, and the past Rimmer, the cat, and Kochanski, all in the same room. And it's just, and the funniest thing, there's a hologram, as hologram present day Rimmer, he's in the table, so it's just his head floating on the desk, as the past Rimmer is having a complete mental breakdown because he thinks he's hallucinating because the past Lister has fed him magic mushrooms. And I'm just thinking about it now, I'm laughing because it's just bizarre, but funny as fuck, and just brilliantly shot. And cool fun fact for you, the girl that's playing Kochanski in that scene is not Claire Grogan. No, it's actually, I think, one of the production team, because Claire Grogan had gone home for the day before they filmed that scene, so that's why she comes in with the hat covering her face, the big hat covering her face off on honeymoon with Lister. And it's not Claire Grogan. No, it's not. Fun fact for you. That's my second choice from series 2. And finally, my favourite episode of all time is from Series 7. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I'm confusing it with Series 8. It's from Series 7, of course it is. And it is. And I've spoken about this before, what my favourite episode is. From Series 7 and of all time, and it is Ouroboros. Ouroboros. I don't daft, I can't even spell his name. Because it completes the Lister storyline. You've always wondered about Lister. Why is he there? Why is he the last human being? You know, why is this Liverpudlian slob the last human being? Even though he's got massively high moral values, he's a real man. He's a real person. He's not a fake person. He's not just one of these people that says things and doesn't do them and has stupid theories or anything. He's so experienced, and he represents the general working class human, the working class man, and I like that. Lister is a great depiction of that. And Ouroboros basically sets his storyline in a complete circle, literally in a complete circle. So they work out that they take the time drive that they had from Ticket to Ride and Out of Time in the previous series. That they've got to by meeting a parallel universe version of themselves through non-space, through a Gelf attack. I know, it's confusing, you got to watch it. But they work out that Lister has to go back in time to basically him and Kochanski conceive himself in a in vitro tube because she wants to have children and can't because alternative reality Lister, parallel universe Lister is a hologram, he's dead. But Kochanski is still alive and with the crew. So she wants some of his sperm so she can create a baby, and then he realises that that baby has to be him because of past events. So he, at the end of the episode, goes back and leaves his baby self, himself, under the pool table in the Egbert Arms. And it's quite a touching episode. It's pretty sad when he leaves the baby alone, deserts the baby, deserts himself. But he's his own father, and in his own words, Christine Kochanski is his ex-girlfriend and his mum. This is why I love Red Dwarf, because it's just utterly insane. But that's what happens when the memory on your camera runs out and it doesn't tell you. I prattled on for another 2 or 3 minutes there, finishing that video, and got to the computer and it's not there, it's gone. So this is the end of that VR. And I packed and I closed the loft up and everything else. What a I told you I was a drongo, didn't I? Anyway, those are my 5 favourite Red Dwarf episodes. Yeah, check out JL76 Gaming's video. Do your own video response if you love your dwarf. Thank you very much. Nova Bug out.